WPC PowerDriver board and CPU board from a Fishtales, and I've abated some alkaline corrosion on the CPU, and the CPU seems good to go, but we do have an interesting situation. First thing you notice is that one of the GI strings is out, string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will notice that row and column 5 of the lamp matrix are inoperative, and let's go to solenoid test, and you will notice that solenoid 5 is inoperative, as is solenoid 13, and I can do again, well, let me do it anyway, flasher test. And flasher or solenoid 21 is inoperative. What do those all have in common? Well, I think they're all on data signal 5, which comes in at the ribbon cable here and runs across the board. Sometimes these get corroded from a leaky cap at C2, but I've replaced that cap and there was no corrosion. But the signal is not getting to these LS374s that distribute or that drive solenoid flashers and lamps. So let's figure out why that is. So it does pay to check the simple things first. And as I was removing the ribbon cable, which gets a lot of abuse on my test bench because it's constantly being taken on and off, taken off and put back on, I noticed that it had ripped out on one end, so I just crimped a new 34-pin IDC connector onto there, and voila, or viola, as the French say, I think. I'm not sure. And I can show you the GI is working now. Since I've done this a million times, I know that all 5 strings are operating. And I showed you the lamps, and let's do the solenoids now. Oops. Test 4. And make it run. Boom. I thought I was onto something really interesting. Turned out to be something mundane. That is the real motor. That is why that LED lit up longer than just about everything else did. So this board pair is good to go. So the summary is I'm going to update this ROM to L5 as the local guy, so I can do that for him. Generally I erase the ROM and reburn it, and then there's a small charge for reburning it. Sometimes these ROMs don't want to erase, and so I have to charge for a new ROM. Put a socket in and installed NVRAM, set it to US82, abated the corrosion. There were 12 10K pull-up resistors that required replacement here, or sorry, only 8. And then all of this right here, replace this cap. This is a 5-volt filter cap, it's 100 microfarad. And of course, replace the header at J210, because the OEM headers just kind of suck, as do the Rotten Dog headers. On the driver board, J120, 121, the J115, the GI input. This is power output, very important header, of course. 12 volt unregulated power source. This is the 70 volt flipper power source. And then these are the solenoids and flashers, AC coming in, and the digital 5 volt connector there. So, and only replaced one of the 15,000 microfarad caps, because that's the only one that's ever a problem on these boards, except the only 15,000 microfarad cap that's a problem. C4 in the center of the shot here is sometimes indicted in resets, and I've mentioned C2 sometimes leaks. Anyway, good to go. Thank you so much.